Hey, what if bedtime felt like relief instead of anxiety? What if you could put your head down and actually start to drift off rather than start overthinking, replaying the day, or worrying about tomorrow? If you struggle with difficulty falling asleep because of racing thoughts, overthinking, or an overactive nervous system, this video is for you. Because the problem with sleep isn't that our body doesn't know how. We are physiologically designed to have these periods of rest and recovery and essentially hibernation at night. When we have trouble falling asleep, it's often because we haven't given our nervous system the signal, the time, or the space to gear down, to get into a more relaxed, restorative state where sleep can actually occur. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a 10-minute pre-sleep routine to work with your brain and give your brain the signals that it needs in order to gear down into that state ready for sleep onset to occur. This routine is something you can always come back to again and again when you need it so that your mind doesn't have to carry everything that you're carrying into bed. What I see all the time as a triple board certified sleep physician is patients who go all day on go mode, planning, thinking, solving, pushing, working. And then at night, we just expect the brain to stop. We go from 100 to 0, and that doesn't actually work. We can't force our brain to skip gears as we start to shift down into that restful state. Sleep doesn't work like an on and off switch. It's something that we allow our nervous system to drift into when we've created that space and state of relaxation. So if our brain is full, our body is going to stay alert. If our brain is telling us that we're worried that we have threats coming, like a meeting tomorrow, a presentation, an exam, then our body's going to respond and be in that state of alertness. And that doesn't create the ideal environment and state for your body to go into a restorative sleep. So the goal of this ritual is to help you close those mental loops, reduce the cognitive load, and gently shift your nervous system toward rest. This isn't about doing anything perfectly. There's no right way to do this. There's a consistency and working with your own brain and your own body to see what works for you. So here we go. 10 minutes. For the first 3 minutes, we're going to do a brain dump. So grab a notebook, not your phone, a physical notebook with pen and paper where you can write down what is still open in my mind right now. What am I actively concerned about, worried about, planning for? And write it all down, whether it's task, worries, random thoughts, anything that's actively on your mind, things that you don't want to forget. Just write it all down. Take 3 minutes, put a timer if you want to, and it's just about emptying what's on our brain. Don't worry about organizing it. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about it looking pretty. It is just an exercise in getting what's in your brain and putting it down, emptying that cognitive load, and letting it go for the night. This tells your brain, hey, we got this. This is on paper. We don't have to hold on to it in our nervous system. We can come back to this tomorrow because right now is time for rest and recovery. Step 2 is a brief practice of gratitude. So take a minute and a half and give your attention to something that you're grateful for. You might ask yourself, what is one small thing that I'm grateful for today? They can be small, they can be big, they can be simple, like conversations or a quiet moment or just your cup of coffee in the morning. And let yourself actually feel and experience that feeling of gratefulness of, hey, I have this, I got this, I did this, and I really appreciate that time, that space, that moment. You might also ask yourself, what is something that my body did for me today? It got you through the day. It helped you show up for someone. It carried you, even if you were tired. Just notice that there are parts of our body and our physical state that we can be grateful for, that we can celebrate. Step 3 is to tap into our physiology and use our body to help our brain gear down. We can access our parasympathetic, our rest and digest nervous system through the breath. We do this through a physiologic exhale. So we can start by placing a hand on our chest or our belly. Take the deepest inhale that you've taken all day, in through the nose, and you're going to let it out through the mouth, and you can let out a sigh if you need to. Just let go completely as you exhale. So let's try this together. You can hold for a few seconds, and then sigh it out. Let it all out through your mouth, and let go. Just feel that tension release as you take that exhale. Step 4 is to bring your awareness and attention to your body. You could start at the top of your head down to your little toe. Just work down your body and notice where you're holding tension. You might start at the forehead, at your jaw, your shoulders, your chest, your lower back. your hips, your knees, your ankles. You might ask yourself, where am I holding tension right now? Without needing to fix anything. Just notice. Wherever you feel tightness, invite a little softening. Let your body drop a little bit more. That should take you just a couple of minutes, and now you're ready for step 5, which is 2 minutes of closing the loop, of resetting mentally. Essentially, imagine putting your entire day up on the shelf, everything that's happened, conversations, the decisions, the meetings, the tasks, all of it, put it on the shelf. Not to ignore it, not to dismiss it. Just know that it's being held somewhere else, and you don't have to carry it in your brain and your body and your nervous system. You might gently say to yourself, today is done. Nothing from today needs to hold my attention overnight. I can come back to this tomorrow. Right now is a time for rest. Remember that sleep is not time lost. Sleep is critical to optimizing your performance and your productivity. If you find it helpful to have that reminder, you might write that down in a card and keep it next to your bed so that every time you set things down and go to bed, you remind yourself that this time is just as productive as everything else you've done during the day. Now, your brain is going to want to pull you back into thinking, planning, problem solving, and you just remind yourself gently, without beating yourself up, just remind yourself, this is on the shelf, and I can come back to it tomorrow. Our brain is really good at trying to convince us that we have to solve this right now, that we need a solution, that we need to figure this out. Just remember, when that happens, when you notice those thoughts, that your brain works better after you've slept. That your decisions are clearer after you've slept. That your nervous system resets during sleep. And if your brain keeps coming back to something, just gently remind it, hey, this is on the shelf. Right now is time for rest. One more thing I'll emphasize is that if you're in bed and you notice that sleep just hasn't come yet and it's been 20 minutes or so, don't beat yourself up over it. It's okay. You're human and you have a human nervous system that wants to problem solve, that wants to figure things out. Just be kind to yourself. Put on a robe, keep yourself nice and cozy, get out of bed, go to the living room, somewhere you can sit in dim light, maybe read a book or a magazine, nothing too engaging. And just remind yourself that it's okay, that sleep will come. Trust your body that it's going to give you that signal, even if it's a little bit delayed. The key thing is to make sure that your bed is a place where sleep actually happens, not where you're struggling, not where you're suffering, not where you're worried. Something else you might try in those moments is to listen to a meditation or a calming story. And you'll notice that as you let your brain drift into something that's not your worries, you may feel that physiologic signal for sleep to start to drift off. And as soon as you feel your eyelids start to get heavy, go ahead and go back into bed. Try this 10-minute reset one more time, and you'll notice that you'll drift right off into sleep. So just remember that you don't need to earn your rest, and you don't need to solve everything before you go to sleep. Your bedtime is a time for recovery, for release of tension, for resetting. Your body will catch up as we give it the right signals to gear down, to shift into that state of rest and relaxation, and sleep will naturally come. If you found this video helpful, give it a comment, subscribe, share it with someone who you think this might help. And if you want to join a community of like-minded people who are working to optimize their sleep, join us at the Dream Life Medicine free community. It's open to everyone, and my goal is to spread as much health information, education on sleep health, metabolic health, and I look forward to seeing you there.